Okay, so let's talk about Bones and All. This is the latest film from director Luca Guadagnino, who did Call Me by Your Name, and he comes back here with Timothée Chalamet to bring us a coming-of-age story, horror, love story, all wrapped up in one, and it is flawless the way it is all done. So we have Taylor Russell here starring alongside Timothée Chalamet as they go on this cross-country sort of like love romantic coming-of-age road trip movie. I mean, there's so many layers to this movie that it is just kind of hard to really pinpoint it to one. So I really do want to emphasize all of those elements come together in this story in a very amazing way. So before we get into any of this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going to be covering this movie more. This is spoiler free, so don't worry. There's no spoilers here for you because I really do want you to go into this movie not knowing much of the movie. So I won't really get into the plot or any of the details here. That will be coming later once the movie is closer to release date or release. So that way everybody has a chance to see it and we can really discuss and dissect this movie, which I think is going to be on a lot of people's top 10 list, if not their favorite movie of the year. So let's get right into what I really enjoyed the most here, and that was the chemistry between Taylor and Timothy, which I think was done very well, very subtle, but at the same time very impactful. And Luca does an amazing job at really fleshing out these love stories as he did in Call Me by Your Name as well. And I think that he really succeeds even further in this one here because it's not something that happens right off the bat. It's something that you slowly progress into and really sink your teeth in, no pun intended, because of course what this film's about. But I think that it really does have a lot to do with sort of finding your true self and finding the ones closest to you that are there to really be there for you and not just try to use you as well. And I think, like the song says, some of them want to use you, some of them want to abuse you, really goes well with this movie as well. And I think that Luca does an amazing job also with this movie taking place in different places of the country, of giving each place that they visit in the movie a breath. It doesn't feel like the same place over and over, like the different sort of like nature, the different people, the different sort of settings that we're placed into all feel different and have their own sort of like life to them, and I think that was really well done as well. Cinematography here is on point as well. I always say when I watch a movie, if every single frame can just be taken as a photograph and it looks great as a photograph, then that is definitely a great like look to the movie, because you want everything to just feel like it could be on its own. And some of the colors here just work so well with the movie, very different from what Luca has done in the past for sure, especially with the movies that are set in Italy and all of that. This sort of like rural America feel to it that's sort of bleak and sort of like a desaturated color too, but at the same time has those coming of age colors you expect in the movies. I really did enjoy that as well. We have Mark Rylance here, who plays a very haunting and strong role as well. I won't get more into his character because I really do want you to experience it when you go watch it for the first time, but I think he is definitely going to be one of the actors and characters that's talked about for a while, because honestly it just sticks with you even after the movie ends. The story is very much so, like I said, a sort of like trying to figure out who you are deep down, and sort of being in this, like at the beginning I feel like your mind is all clouded and foggy, and then by the end of it you see clearly who it is that you really are as well, which I think was done very much so good by both Taylor and Timothy, who come from different paths, but once they cross each other's paths, it seems that they were always destined to be together and sort of like figure each other out at the same time, which I really enjoyed. So I think this film is a really wonderful film that is definitely going to be up there for award season, and I think that this is going to be one that really breaks out these two actors. Not that they weren't already broken out, but I think that they really do something special with one another in this movie, and they really sort of bounce off each other very well, and it really shines throughout the whole movie. So a movie I truly recommend. Of course, there are some things that I do think that some people might find a little bit like, not to say that it's bad or anything like that, but I know that it is something that I've heard about as well, is that this movie can feel slow at times, but then when it picks up, it picks up. So I think that this is something that Luca always has with his films, especially Call Me by Your Name, where there can be scenes where characters are just sort of like not doing much, but they're just there, and it's sort of for you to take in everything that's going on, these long shots as well. There's a lot of experimentation from him here that I haven't seen in his other films as well, especially with dream sequences, which I think were really good, but it does feel a little jarring at times when it happens, but I feel like maybe that was the point he was trying to do as well. But overall, like I said, I really did enjoy enjoy everything that this film did, and also, like I said, the actors did an amazing job here at bouncing off one another as the two protagonists, but also some of the people that we see throughout the film that they encounter on this road trip were really great, such as Mark Rylance. And I won't give any further details onto what happens during this film because I don't want to spoil it at all, but just know it does get a little bit gory, a little bit bloody as well. So if you're a little squeamish, you might just want to maybe note that once you go to see this movie, because it honestly, some of the things that happen here really caught me off guard. And I think that it's not a bad thing about it, but I think that some people who are going into this thinking it might just be a romance film definitely have to know there's some horror elements to it as well, and they go a little bit further into it than you would expect. I feel it is definitely rated R for that reason, and I could definitely get behind that, but I think that it is just meant to be the most impactful moments as well. It doesn't really heavily rely on this sort of gross out or horrific parts of it. It does it in an order to emphasize certain elements that are happening throughout the film. So it's impactful, and I think at the same time it makes it tasteful. Of course, no pun intended as well with that. So I think that it definitely does very well with how it balances both the horror and the romance here to really give you a full feel for these two characters that are going through these things that they're going to. I'm not going to spoil it, like I said. So overall, I really did enjoy this movie. It is in my top 10. It's close to being in my top 5 probably, but I just definitely want to check out some other movies before I make that list. So this is going to be a hard list. 2022 has been such a great year for filmmaking and horror films in particular, and like I said, this one I can't really just put it into a horror category because it had a lot of elements going for it, but I definitely do think it is one of the best films of the year, and I can't wait to see what Luca has next up his sleeve after this. So I'm excited and cannot wait. But once you watch this, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And yeah, this is just my spoiler free review. I give it, I would say, 4.5, maybe 5 stars even. I want to see it one more time to really give you my full review, so once it does come out, I'll definitely do that. But overall, this is a film that I say do not miss, especially if you're a fan of Luca, a fan of Timothy, Taylor. They do such an amazing job together that I would love to see them work on something else in the future as well, because I think that they can deliver so many things. So I'm excited for this movie and hope you are as well. We'll talk more about the spoilers and stuff once this is closer to release around November. So till then, I will just tell you, check out the movie if you want, especially if you're a fan of Call Me By Your Name or the actors in particular. It is really good, and just know it's gonna get you a little squeamish, especially because of the horror parts of it. But overall, great movie. So anyways, as always, that's gonna do it for me. Like I said, comment below your thoughts and opinions. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell up here, and as always, that's gonna do it for me. Check us out, Cultural Elixir, on Twitter, TikTok, all those places. We'll be discussing more stuff that we watched at Fantastic Fest over the weekend. So we'll be dropping the review for Piggy tomorrow, and we also have some other ones as well. I have like 10 reviews or 12, I think, that I'm gonna be doing. So over the next week, we'll be doing those, as well as getting ready for our Halloween events we'll be doing throughout the month of October, and our giveaway that I think we're probably going to start tomorrow. We'll have a video for that. But as always, I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.